We exist to support clean energy entrepreneurs, driving innovation and building fairness and justice into the global clean economy as it rises. We have a really exciting global e-mobility showcase tonight for you that I want to thank Haley Nia and John Bonanno for doing a mountain of work to pull together with a number of fantastic startups and amazing speakers. We do this regularly where we try to connect our community of corporate pollinators from big business with the startup and entrepreneurial community, with investors, and we have an incredible selection of all those stakeholders here tonight. And we're going to have a fun-filled, packed hour to do so. I'm going to jump straight into it by introducing the keynote speaker, Mr. S.P. Shukla, who is joining us from Bombay live on his iPhone, which is wonderful. We're so happy to have him. I'm not going to go through the whole bio because it's a 40-year-long career where Mr. Shukla is now a member of the group executive board of the Mahindra Group, which for all of you that don't know is one of India's largest conglomerates, and a real leader in a number of sectors from aerospace to agri and defense sectors. But really interestingly, Mr. Shukla, aside from sitting on the boards and chairing several companies within the group, he ran the brand remake, which was really a strategic departure for the Mahindra Group after decades of being in the auto industry and getting into the electric car business as part of his role also as head of the sustainability function on the board of Mahindra Group. And he built the Formula E team, which I think is one of Mahindra's wonderful sort of recent departures in recent years, and continues to lead on sustainability and brand council within the Mahindra Group. I'm going to ask Mr. Shukla to share his thoughts with us as before we get into the introduction of the startups and some comments afterwards from our own board chair and Ken Alston from the Amazon Climate Pledge Fund at the end of the hour on the opportunities for battery manufacturing and the like in the United States. Mr. Shukla, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have been very generous with the introduction, very kind. Thank you so much. It is an honor for me to deliver this speech to this august audience on the topic which is becoming one of the key trends going into the future, e-mobility. This is really a topic close to my heart. In fact, in one of my earlier roles in Mahindra Group, I had helped in starting the global racing for electric cars. Our that if we have to popularize electric cars, we have to get over a very big psychological handicap. Men are majority of the buyers in automobile segment, and very often they think electric car and they think of the toy cars they played with in their childhood. These were the handicaps, psychological handicaps we noticed in our market surveys, that uh, how do we get over this perception that electric car may not have the power? What is a better way than starting racing of electric cars? We use the same format, formula format. So just like Formula 1, Formula E was commenced. And once you see electric cars roaring past you in the city racing format, you realize the power of electric cars. We have been in Mahindra Group truly a pioneer in India in e-mobility space, and I'm here to share some views. But at the onset, let me begin by thanking the organizers at the New Energy Nexus for providing me this platform. Let us begin first to understand the trends in domain of mobility, and in particular in the Indian context. Access to mobility is a key aspect and probably the next wave after access to energy across the world. If you notice earlier industrial revolutions, they have all been driven by access of mobility with an energy source. First industrial revolution was driven by steam engine. Second industrial revolution was fossil fuel based on diesel and petrol, or gasoline as we say in America. Then came electronics, and now we are on the cusp of next revolution. a new energy source for mobility. Before the Industrial Revolution, which happened, the first Industrial Revolution, the source of mobility and energy was animal power, whether it was horses or whether it was oxes or even buffaloes in some Southeast Asian countries, camel power in desert. So animal power replaced by steam engine, replaced by fossil fuels, and now we are looking at a new source taking its rightful place. Cities across the world today face the challenge of developing and providing efficient, healthy, and environment friendly mobility solutions due to rapid urbanization. One of the options is in exploring the first mile and the last mile connectivity. For people movement, use of first and last mile connectivity is a growing phenomenon across the globe, with multiple ride hailing and ride sharing companies catering to this demand. Even for the movement of freight, we are seeing an increase in demand for the last mile delivery driven by urbanization, increasing purchasing power, and rise of e-commerce companies. All these three elements put together have really brought focus on last mile delivery for delivery of goods. What it means in mature markets, volume of cargo could double in next 10 years. Volume may reach roughly 5 billion parcels every year in Germany and 25 billion parcels every year in the US. Now, these disruptions in mobility space are important to watch for e-mobility sector as well, because in the future, we would need e-mobility solutions which can help address these market demands. Now, let me share some perspective from India, as it is one of the largest automotive markets in the world and therefore an important market for e-mobility startups as well. India is facing a similar situation as we face in most parts of the country, most parts of the world, with rapid urbanization happening in the major cities. Population of urban centers is growing, and there is a migration of population from rural areas to urban areas. Hence, there is a huge need for technology-enabled, sustainable solutions for first and last mile connectivity, which can be met through e-mobility solutions. The potential for electric mobility in India is significant, with growing demand, innovation in business models, and most importantly, falling technology costs. India is expected to see 60 million passenger vehicle sales by 2025. It is almost double of what is being sold today. Even if in India 1 or 2% of this happens in EV, electric vehicle space, we are talking about a million electric vehicles. What have we done in Mahindra Group in e-mobility is equally interesting. As I mentioned, we were pioneers. We were the first to begin manufacturing electric vehicles in India, keeping in mind the size and profile of the market few years ago. We began with small cars. Mahindra Group, as one of the major auto companies, had taken a bet on electric mobility way back in 2010. I mentioned to you about Formula electric car racing, which started as early as 2014. Through our partnerships, and we are a great believer in partnerships with the companies in the domains of ride sharing and self-drive cars, we have tried to promote adoption of electric vehicles. As far as our product portfolio goes, we have one of the most effective technological solutions addressing the first and last mile connectivity due to low cost of operation and environment friendliness. Today, I'm happy to say Mahindra Electric has more than 11,000 vehicles on the road with 250 million kilometers of on-road experience. Our EV capabilities today are unmatched in the Indian market. We have launched Trio platform, Trio platform, with the advanced lithium-ion battery in 2018 to transform first and last mile connectivity in India and bring affordable mobility to the masses. That remains our focus area. How do we reach millions? Three-wheeler is a common mode of transportation in Indian cities, particularly for first and last mile connectivity. With a large part of the fleet currently being predominantly diesel, many Indian cities are now looking to transition these fleets towards electric alternatives. Mahindra has partnered with city municipal authorities and the fleet operators towards enabling an efficient and affordable last mile electric solution to commuters. We have also developed a cargo variant of our three-wheeler platform, which provides considerable operational saving and best in industry performance. We are confident that this will be a game changer for the last mile cargo delivery segment. What do we need going forward in terms of partnerships with startups and investors? Is a natural question somebody will ask. Trio is one example of how companies, especially startups, can develop solutions matching the needs of the market. There is a lot of untapped potential in electric mobility space. While e-mobility space is a key discussion point for policymakers, its adoption and the customer perception, these two remain areas which need considerable attention. Many customers have shown interest towards adopting to e-mobility, but a key consideration is always the cost involved. And this is where the startup ecosystem can contribute a lot. As we move ahead, startups will need to understand and innovate to ensure that development of cost-effective solutions takes place, which focus on support ecosystem. For example, we need innovative charging solutions. We need development of different parts of the powertrain. And we need to figure out more and more simple ways of accelerating process of ownership. Given the interest of startup community in this domain, many of which will be showcased later today in the event, I believe that e-mobility sector is at the cusp of making rapid growth strides. I'm confident, I'm convinced. We have all the major ingredients needed for its success. We have customers demanding alternative solutions, and our startup ecosystem will help develop these solutions. Investor community is ready to back these startups. We have renowned business houses like our own Mahindra Group with the experience and technology to integrate these solutions and create a market for them. We are committed that this will be a partnership. Only then we will succeed in bringing the new solutions to the society. Collaboration is the key forward. I am sure platforms like New Energy Nexus will help ensure that the e-mobility sector reaches its full potential. I will conclude here by wishing the organizers all the success and all the participants uh, fruitful interactions going forward during the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Couldn't have said it better myself. And collaboration is exactly the key and what we strive to do with New Energy Nexus. So wonderful words. I'm not going to try to recap, but I was sort of particularly tuned into the talk of last mile distribution, the cargo capacity of the three-wheel bikes. I know Amazon's made similar decisions with Rivian and the like, so it'll be an interesting conversation. But for now, I just want to cut to the startups that have prepared their amazing presentations. John, can you introduce them?
Sure. Thanks, Danny. Thank you, SP, for such a nice opening. We're going to
Thank you.
start tonight, and we're going to be spanning the globe across all of our program regions. But we're going to start tonight with a group in California named Flux Auto. And I need you to not go full screen. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So Flux Auto is a unique US-based EV leasing company focused on delivering low-cost, all-electric mobility experience for medium and low-income super commuters. And here to talk about Flux Auto is Andrew. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, everybody, and thanks for the introduction, John. I'm co-founder and CEO of Flux Auto, and I believe John's queuing up a video.
We're going to go for the video. So just hang tight. There we go.
Okay, I hope audio works. Let me know if it doesn't, please.
I'm Andrew Krolowitz, co-founder and CEO of Flux. Our mission is to make driving an electric vehicle easy and affordable for anyone who needs reliable, cost-effective transportation. To make this possible, Flux has introduced a pay-by-the-mile EV lease that removes barriers to adoption and saves our customers money with every mile they drive. More than anyone else, low to medium income consumers are subject to long-distance commutes, with the cost of driving disproportionately impacting their financial stability. Many are essential workers and gig economy drivers, who we have all come to depend on in the current environment and will likely continue to do so even as we return to normal. We at Flux want to help these drivers take home more of their hard-earned income rather than spend it on gas and maintenance. Flux is not just a leasing company. We apply fleet-level vehicle and charging management strategies to generate additional savings for customers and excess returns for investors. We are uniquely positioned in this regard. Because our customers are high-mileage drivers, this means they need to charge more regularly and for a greater number of hours than the average EV owner. This also means we have more opportunity to monetize the vehicles as distributed energy assets than any other light-duty e-mobility management platform. We recently signed a $1 million term sheet for project financing to fund the rollout of our beta fleet, for which we have a growing customer waitlist in the San Francisco Bay Area. To ensure a successful launch and support the build-out of our platform, we are currently raising a seed round with a target investment round of $500,000 and a close date of early Q1. We would like to thank New Energy Nexus for giving us this opportunity and for their continued support of our mission. And we hope to work with many of you watching to usher in a new era of clean, equitable mobility options. Thank you.
Flux Auto, first of the 6 companies we're going to see tonight. That was great. We're going to hold all Q&A. If you have questions, please put them in the chat window, and Haley and Olivia will circle them all together, and we're going to do a big group Q&A. So up next, our next company comes from China, and the name of the company is PowerShare. PowerShare is a growing EV charging network in China using AI to reduce range anxiety and improve EV driver experience. Ethan Zhou is the CEO, and we're going to hear from him right now.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everybody. And we also have a take a video to introduce our companies. So maybe we are
okay. Hold on a second, Ethan. We'll get to that right now.
Yeah,
all right.
You.
Hold on.
If more question, we can show at the Q&A session. Yeah.
Give it 1 second. We're going to get it going right now.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Zhu, CEO of PowerShare, based in Shanghai. PowerShare aspires to lead the low-carbon mobility future through the intelligent e-mobility charging service and the bus battery as a service for all electrical vehicles across China. To achieve this mission, PowerShare battery AI platform is already utilizing big data from 350,000 EVs in China, which is 10% amount of the passenger EVs, to analyze battery SOC state of charge and SOH state of healthy, to optimize the utility of the energy storage and enhance driver experience. And the battery safety prediction via our AI algorithms by PowerShare to make sure the healthy and the security for the EV drivers. Today, our e-mobility service platform have aggregated more than 140,000 public chargers and 15,000 charger stations in China to reduce the EV driver range anxiety. Through the app software integration and the smart charging technology, we include Porsche and the Renault EVs in our OEM customer group. The expanding PowerShare e-mobility service platform network encourage customers to drive long-range travel and decrease the range anxiety. It also solidified the customer behavior to welcome EVs through the providing battery safety. We are engaged in early paid pilot with EV manufacturer to gain proof of the conception and the commercial buy-in. We are grateful to present here at the New Energy Nexus e-mobility showcase. At the moment, we are seeking the battery and the AI engineering and the related companies' cooperation in technologies and business in global. Currently, we are invested by two strategic corporate ventures, BP Venture from UK and Alliance Venture, Renault Nissan Mitsubishi. We would also welcome strategic investor expertise with the battery or grid, clean energy investment, financial investment, and hope engage with capital allocate on joining our low carbon journey. Thank you.
All right, that was fantastic. Power shares from China. Okay, you may have noticed that I changed into a beautiful Indonesian batik for our next CEO. Our next company is called T-Trek, and they come from Indonesia. And they are a company focused on, hold on, I got to get that. Yes, focused on highly localized battery swapping stations, which makes it easier for low-cost logistics and ride-sharing drivers to go all electric. So we're going to have John's video show now.
Very interesting.
We're gonna air their vignette, and we'll come back to them later. 1 second.
Oh, we're going to come back to them later. Okay, should we skip over them?
Yes, I think we should go.
Okay. I got it. Okay, so we're going to go to T-Trek is going to be later, but now up next is Tojo Motors. And Tojo Motors is a Philippine mobility electrification pioneer. Tojo is focused on manufacturing multi-passenger all-electric transportation vehicles with a stretch goal of carrying capacity of 50,000 people in the near future. And now we're going to hear from their CEO, Evan. And Evan, we're going to roll your video. Hold on. Say hello. Hello.
Hello.
Evan?
Hi. Good afternoon from the
All right.
Excellent. Now we're going to roll your video.
Hi, I'm Evan Chinay, Chief Operating Officer of Tojo Motors Corp. We are a 100% Filipino company and a manufacturer and developer exclusively of pure electric vehicles. In the Philippines, the major contributor to air pollution is from the transportation sector, producing about 65% of the total emission inventory. Public transport takes most of the pie, with jeepneys responsible for 17% of ambient air pollution in Manila and 80% in other cities, and three-wheel units responsible for 45% of all volatile organic compounds in the air. As one of the answers to clean air awareness and action in the Philippines, the electric vehicle industry initially started gradually, but thrived eventually in the past few years, thanks to the government's call for transport modernization, as well as other local councils' initiatives for EV implementation in their areas. The vision of Tojo Motors has always been to produce the best-in-class multi-passenger electric vehicles which serve all people, developed and produced here in the Philippines. We strive to continuously innovate and improve our product offering to satisfy our customers' needs. Through superior service, quality, and attention to safety features, we win over our fellow Filipinos to the viability and sustainability of mobility electrification. We enable, empower, and unleash Pinoy ingenuity to produce electric vehicles efficiently and locally, which contributes to the overall Philippine economy. Since the company was founded in 2013, Tojo Motors has sold and deployed nearly 300 multi-passenger vehicles to delighted customers. This amounts to about 3,200 tons of carbon emission reduction, equivalent to about 3 million kilometers traveled by a gas-powered bus, carrying 60 passengers. Our stretch goal is to sell more than 2,000 fully electric multi-passenger vehicles by 2024, which will have the carrying capacity of nearly 50,000 Filipinos daily. We are grateful to New Energy Nexus for giving us the opportunity to showcase how Tojo Motors is taking part in promoting electric mobility here in the Philippines. There are still a lot of challenges ahead, but we are very determined to push for the success of electric vehicles. We are actively looking to partner with funding institutions and different technology experts in the global community to keep our vision and mission alive. Thank you and good day. Go electric.
My goodness, that's an inspiration. 2024 stretch goal, 50,000 passenger all electric carrying capacity. Really fantastic. Tojo Motors out of the Philippines. And we are going to, so you're noticing a trend here. We started in the United States. We went to China. These are all places where New Energy Nexus is active with our programming. We then went to Indonesia, but we're going to go back, and we went to the Philippines. We're now going to go to India. So thank you for your patience, Mr. Shukla. Next up is the CEO from Taurus Mobility, a Chennai, India-based company with a breakthrough axial electrical motor technology, which is proving in the lab potential for meaningful cost and performance improvements across the electric vehicle. So we're going to play that video now.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Excuse me.
Thank you for everyone's patience. This is a global event, so we are just trying to coordinate all these videos, and give us just 1 second.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
There we are.
Hello everyone, I'm Vignesh, co-founder of Taurus Mobility, a clean tech startup which is based out of Chennai in India. At Taurus Mobility, we aspire to fight against climate change and to improve the quality of life of all people through our innovative and indigenous mobility electrification solution. To achieve this vision, we are leveraging our breakthrough axial flex motor technology, which helps Indian electric vehicle manufacturers to achieve up to 50% cost savings in motor procurement and in strengthening their production with a strong domestic supply chain. We have less than 10 years to drastically reduce the global CO2 emissions to prevent the climate crisis from becoming irreversible. As a part of preventive measures, the world is electrifying rapidly, and it's now evident that electric vehicles are our future. With India on a highly optimistic mission of transforming its entire automotive industry to all electric by the year 2030, the country still relies on foreign imports for the core of electric vehicles, which is none other than the electric powertrains. If you look at the stats, about 95% of the motors used by the Indian EV manufacturers are imported from China, while the remaining 5% is being imported from the rest of the world. This not only constitutes additional expenditure on imports spent on shipping and import duties, leading the OEMs to significantly increase their product pricing, but also leads to serious supply chain worries as experienced by the OEMs during the present COVID-19 situation. Hence, we at Taurus Mobility are offering innovative and compact axial flex motors to satisfy the demand of the Indian electric automotive industry for an indigenous powertrain. If you look at the dimension and weight factor alone, A 3 kilowatt radial flux motor measures 23 centimeter in length and weighs a minimum of 14 kgs, while Taurus's axial flux motor measures just 4.6 centimeters in length and weighs just 3.2 kg, and it actually fits in your palm. This, along with our proprietary design, material, and cooling technology, makes it 50% lighter, 15% more efficient, and 10% more cost effective compared to the commercially available and widely used radial flux motors in the market. With Taurus's axial flux motors, our customers can save up to 50% in total cost of ownership in terms of shipping and import duties, and our motor offers 2x potential for an increased vehicle range and 15% improved fuel efficiency. We recently completed the key internal testing of our disruptive motor technology, which has confirmed our engineering performance assumptions. We are now ready to engage in early paid pilots with electric vehicle manufacturers to gain product validation and for commercial buy-in. We recently participated and won $2,700 at the Birla Global Innovation Challenge out of 874 startup innovations from 7 different countries. We are also the winners of South Asia at the International Climate Launchpad event for sustainable innovations. Taurus is proud to be recognized as Pioneer Defense Innovator by the Indian Defense Excellence and is one amongst top 25 startups accelerated by FLCTD, UNIDO, and Bureau of Energy Efficiency in the Low Carbon Accelerator Program. We are Startup India recognized, and we have received $17,500 as grants from the state and the central government for the initial development of our motor technology. We are highly grateful to present ourselves here at the New Energy Nexus e-mobility showcase event, and I would like to specially thank Mr. John Bonanno, Helini, Nalin Agrawal, and Pratap Raju for giving us this wonderful opportunity. With the privilege of being the youngest startup to indigenously design, develop, and deliver India's largest fully electric unmanned ground vehicle to the Indian defense, the team is all set to aid India's transition to a pollution-free transportation with our indigenous axial flux motors. At this moment, we seek electric vehicle manufacturing partners in our paid pilot pipeline, would welcome grants to further develop our indigenous technology, and we hope to engage with capital allocators and strategic partners on joining our venture and to be a part of a mission. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Vignesh, co-founder.
That's fantastic. We started with a business model innovation here in the United States, and then we flipped over to, we've seen some technology, and we're about to see a company from Melbourne, Australia, sunny Melbourne, where they drink a whole bunch of coffee. We have a startup from Melbourne, Australia named Relectrify, and they're making batteries, better batteries better. They've invented a unique power electronics architecture for energy storage, which enables improvements in new and EV second life stationary battery storage systems. This company is led by Val, and let me take a look here. Are we ready with Val's audio and video? So we're going to get Relectrify's audio and video.
Here we go.
Hi, my name is Valentin, and I'm a co-founder and the CEO at Relectrify. Relectrify's vision is to enable a society with abundant clean energy through more capable, safe, and low-cost battery storage. To achieve this, our seasoned team develops and supplies advanced power electronics, suitable to both used batteries from electric vehicles and new batteries. These electronics significantly increase the useful life and decrease the cost of stationary energy storage systems. Renewable and reliable power benefits significantly from stationary battery storage in homes, industry, and the power grid. However, standard lithium-ion batteries today remain quite expensive and short-lived. Relectrify focuses on 2 problems to address this. The first problem is related to lifetime. Large battery packs contain up to 200 individual series-connected cells, and the weakest cell limits the entire pack. When batteries are brand new, the cells all perform strongly, and therefore none limit the pack. But as battery packs are used, the cells age unevenly, and the lifetime of the pack is limited by the single weakest series cell. The second problem is related to cost. Connecting to homes, industry, and the grid requires an AC output. Since normal battery packs provide a DC output, an expensive inverter is required. We have solved both these problems. Electrify's mixed software and hardware solution merges the traditional battery management and inverter into one stronger performing, lower cost solution. Every cell is controlled individually, which overcomes the weakest link issue. This increases battery life by up to 30%. Alongside, the cell level control provides a partial AC output, which allows inverter complexity to be vastly reduced. Instead of 20,000 times per second, it only needs to switch about 100 times per second, and largely avoids the need for filtering capacitors or inductors. Our approach results in around 30% less battery management and inverter component cost, which spread across the full battery system leads to about a 10% cost reduction. Now, taking a step back, this technology opens up two opportunities. The first is allowing new batteries to be cheaper and have a notably longer life. The second is reusing so-called second life batteries, used batteries from electric cars, for a uniquely low capex storage solution. Electrify was founded in 2015 out of battery research at the University of Melbourne, Australia. Since then, we have scaled our technology across residential and large industrial solutions. These have already found use with Volkswagen Germany, Nissan subsidiary 4R Energy in Japan, and power utility Vector in New Zealand. This January, Electrify launched our inverter replacing solutions, which are already installed in a project with US power utility AEP and Nissan US in Ohio.
More recently, we deployed a paid industrial storage pilot in real-world use with a manufacturing company in Chicago, Illinois.
Electrify is actively looking for strategic collaborators globally that either manufacture or install stationary battery packs at significant volume. We would love to connect with any relevant companies to see if Electrify can help make your battery packs cheaper and longer lasting. Alongside, if there are investors with interest in a future Series B round, it would be good to connect also.
Many thanks to the New Energy Nexus team for inviting us to participate in the showcase, and we look forward to discuss further together.
Fantastic. We've heard from our friends in Melbourne. Now, I think we're going to be ready to switch back now to our team from Indonesia, Tetric. We're going to run that video, which we unfortunately were not able to run before. We ready with that, Haley?
Yep, we are. Last
You
one.
tell me when, and I will give a little description before we do that.
Sure.
So Tetric is an Indonesian-based company focused on highly localized battery swapping stations, which make it easy and low cost for logistics and ride-sharing drivers to go all electric.
Hi, my name is John Colombo, and this is Chakra Darusman. We're building a startup called Tetric in Indonesia. Tetric will lead the transition to mobility electrification in Indonesia by providing consumers with affordable, reliable, and safe charging infrastructure. We prioritize drivers' needs by emphasizing ease of use, safety, and savings. Moreover, Tetric can function as a local economic incubator, as our flexible approach to designing and strategically siting charging stations will create opportunities for local businesses to create extra income.
Tetric is currently deploying flexible charging infrastructures in urban centers which are intentionally located to encourage revitalizations of local economies and provide convenience to customers. Tetric has developed driver and vendor-facing mobile applications and physical charging stations which facilitate convenience for battery swapping and payment processing. Now, in a multi-site paid pilot, stakeholders' feedback has been phenomenal and our ecosystem learning for improvement are incredible. And currently, our target customers are logistics and ride-hailing drivers who will fully utilize the value of Tetric's micro-charging station network and user experience.
These drivers will benefit from the reduction of the total cost of ownership of owning and operating electric vehicles relative to combustion engine vehicles. Even as Tetric reduces their costs, we also empower them to decarbonize their mode of transit while ensuring safety and reliability. Our team includes professionals with experience in both the power generation and mobility sectors. We'd like to thank New Energy Nexus for having been chosen to participate in this forum. To the broader community, we'd love to be in touch and to seek your input and support. We're currently seeking grant support for pilots in other Indonesian cities, as well as investment in Tetric for the expansion of our team and the rollout of further charging stations in Jakarta. We're also keen to connect with technology providers. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to exploring potential areas of collaboration with you.
Wow. All right. So 6 great startups from all around the world looking to create a business model innovation or technical innovation. Because we're getting a little bit tight on time, I am going to jump right in with a first question. In fact, I may ask if Mr. Shukla, if you have a question for any of these entrepreneurs, feel free to jump in at any point, please. If you have something now, just raise your hand. And if not, we'll just jump in. We've got some questions already. Okay.
In fact, I just had one question.
Go ahead.
What is the biggest problem they face in battery swapping? That on that model, I had this question. What is the biggest constraint or hindrance they have faced?
So that's for John Colombo and Katra. Mr. Shukla is asking about battery swapping. What's the biggest challenge you face as you run your pilots out in the wild? If you could unmute yourself, or if we could unmute John. Let me go see if I can do that.
And while you are doing that, my second question is for California startup, where they talked about the new business model on per kilometer basis. How do they go about driving that message? Because in a new business model, the biggest challenge is selling the idea of a business model that I'm charging by per kilometer. So these are the two questions, and after that I will have to log out, but I would stay in touch. I'm really excited. I would stay in touch.
Fabulous. So let's start with Andrew because I can find Andrew. Andrew, I think you're unmuted, so go ahead. Andrew
Hey.
from Flux Auto.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for the great question, Mr. Shukla. Like you said about the toy cars and Formula E, you need to reframe how people think about e-mobility. And so one way is can you use this car? And so Formula E does that. But here in the Bay Area, there's a good understanding of EVs, which is helpful. For us, we're targeting drivers who fundamentally understand the cost to drive. And these are high mileage super commuters and rideshare drivers. More than anybody else, they know how much they spend on gas. They know how much they spend on repairs. And now specifically with regulations in the state of California, there's a floor for how much they get paid when they drive for services like Uber and Lyft. So we're reframing our service as it pertains to both the marginal cost of driving on gas, which they're familiar with, and now more recently, delivering a service that's less expensive than what it would cost them to drive simply on any of these platforms at 30 cents a mile. So it's a matter of reframing what's familiar to them and applying that to the business model.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank
Very
you.
well.
And I see that John Colombo has gotten back on. John, are you there?
I am, and I apologize. My connection is a bit poor. I'm traveling in southern Java and have spotty connection. But if everybody can hear me okay, I believe
we can.
Chatra informs me that the question was the biggest challenges for us in the Indonesian market as we look to deploy a battery swapping model.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I'd say there's a few things. One, we're trying to address from a customer acquisition standpoint, we're looking at ride sharing and logistics drivers who are apprehensive about switching from the ICE bikes that they are accustomed to using to something that, typically these drivers are independent contractors. So the ride sharing and logistics platforms are not providing them with bikes. So it is a major decision for them to move to EV. What we're working on is providing them with the certainty through pilots and through our own direct marketing and working with driver groups, which are often sort of informal grassroots groups, to show them that there are TCO savings to switching to EV. I think another challenge for us is that there isn't any standardization for the batteries. So for the time being, we need to work with preferred OEM partners, as there are a number of bikes that are available on the market, but they do use different dimensions and also battery specifications. So
okay.
Yep. So
John,
yep.
Hey, John, we're running a little bit short here. Do you want to just summarize, or do you have a lot more?
Yes, no, just that. I would say this lack of standardization in the Indonesian market, and then also a lack of fit with drivers currently who are used to ICE bikes. EV is still a new thing, so we're working on educating the market on that.
Well, I've worn my batik for our team in Indonesia and for you and Chatra, and thank you to all the CEOs who presented today. It's really an amazing spectrum of people trying to solve this electrification of mobility challenge. And I'm going to hand it back to Danny.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all the startups and the teams that presented. It was amazing. It's so much fun to sort of see incredible presentations like that from all around the world. The wonders of Zoom and this COVID thing has actually got us better at presenting these showcases globally and connecting Mahindra Group to amazing startups in Indonesia and California. And it's just great to see. Thank you, John, for hosting that and helping shape those presentations as well. And Haley and Olivia and everyone for the technology. We're going to round out the hour here with a fantastic conversation to showcase another big element of the future of electric mobility that we at New Energy Nexus have been working on for a while, which is the opportunity to produce lithium here in California for a full soup to nuts supply chain of advanced battery manufacturing in America. And to have that conversation out, we've got two wonderful friends and family members of New Energy Nexus, our board chair for the New Energy Nexus C6 entity, where our CalCharge program and energy storage work has run out of, and the former director of that work, who is now with the Amazon Pledge Fund, Ken Alston. So Julie Blunden is going to be in conversation with Ken Alston, all family, but wanted to have this out fireside chat style for the rest of the time we'll have with you. And if we run over the hour a bit, please stick with us. Looking forward to hearing from Julie and Ken. You're on mute.
Great, thank you, Danny, for that introduction. And I'm so excited to be having this conversation with Julie. And we just thought that to start things off, I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm so pleased to be joining the session today as an alum of New Energy Nexus. As you just mentioned, I was the director of the Mobility and Energy Storage program at New Energy Nexus. And it's wonderful to see the leadership that New Energy Nexus is providing in this e-mobility space. So real kudos to the entire team, Danny, Haley, John, Olivia, everyone that's brought this event together. I also want to speak in the capacity that I'm in now at Amazon, which is as a member of the Amazon Climate Pledge Fund team. At Amazon, in June 2020, we announced the Climate Pledge Fund. And what the fund does is that it supports the development of sustainable and decarbonizing technologies and services that will enable Amazon and other companies to reach the goals of the Climate Pledge, which is Amazon's commitment to reach net zero carbon by 2040 and to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement 10 years early. So what we've done is we've set a dedicated investment program with an initial $2 billion in funding that will invest in visionary companies whose products and services will facilitate the transition to a low carbon economy. And to do all that, to meaningfully reduce the amount of net zero greenhouse gas emissions, we think that we need new low carbon solutions to be developed in all parts of the global economy. So what we're seeking to do, and this really dovetails nicely with the conversation tonight, is to look at companies from a number of industries, which include transportation and logistics, energy generation, storage and utilization, manufacturing and materials, circular economy, and food and agriculture. And we're looking across all sizes and stages, from pre-product startups to well-established enterprises looking to scale. As was noted before, one of the companies that we've invested in to date is Rivian, which is an electric vehicle manufacturer. And that's one of the first 5 investments that we've made. So just getting back to the topic at hand tonight and getting into the conversation with Julie, it's really been such a pleasure to hear from the companies tonight that were part of the showcase. I think that the issues that you're working on are really uplifting to me to hear about, because they fit so nicely with the types of problems that we're trying to address through this fund. So I just want to give credit again to the entire New Energy Nexus team, and also to Mr. Shukla, who opened things up in speaking about just the context setting of how the e-mobility sector is growing in importance from his standpoint with the Mahindra Group. So then I think just to talk a little bit more about some of these programs at New Energy Nexus, including this Lithium Valley report, the Building Lithium Valley report. Julie Blunden, who's really been someone I worked with so closely at New Energy Nexus on this. I just want to bring her into the conversation to speak a little bit more about some of this work and New Energy Nexus's leadership.
Thanks, Ken. So first of all, totally inspiring, very impressive group of companies. I'm so pleased that we have such a great variety of folks working on the question of how do we actually deploy. Let me just pause and put this in context. What we're talking about doing is not just taking an industry that exists today, electrified transportation, and move it by a factor of 10. We're talking about moving it between a factor of 100 and a factor of 1,000, 2 to 3 orders of magnitude in about a decade. That is a stunning statement. And when you think about all of the elements of a supply chain to make that possible, one of the critical questions is, how do we put together the supply chain from the very start in a way that's sustainable? The point of our exercise here is to actually improve the environment, offer more people transportation for a much lower environmental impact. That's really the goal. If we do that the way that we address lithium in particular today, it would be inconceivable that we would take the way that we produce lithium today, for example, in South America, Australia, or China, and we move it around the planet and then end up making batteries and move those around the planet and then put them into cars and then move those around the planet. We're literally circling the planet multiple times to get people electrified transportation. That's silly. Nobody actually thinks that's a brilliant idea, by the way. Nobody's raising their hand and say, just do more times, I don't know, a factor of 1,000. Instead, we have to fundamentally reshape our supply chain, just like we did with other parts of the clean power industry. We're going to have to localize our supply chains. That's actually good news for everybody on this call. It means we need to have a localized Southeast Asia supply chains. We need localized US supply chains in North America. We need localized European supply chains. The other thing we need to do is reconsider how we extract lithium from dirt or brine in order to make a battery. Someday, post 2030, we can talk about things other than lithium, but between now and 2030, we're overwhelmingly delivering lithium batteries to transportation electrification. So we got a lot of lithium we need to come up with. Conveniently, one of the things that we've developed at New Energy Nexus with a wide variety of stakeholders and partners is the notion of Lithium Valley. Think Silicon Valley, but lithium. But in this case, what we're actually doing is talking about extracting lithium from existing wastewater. So the idea is you pull brine out of the ground already for geothermal power plants that already operate. You slipstream lithium extraction. You put that slipstream back in to the brine and it goes back into the earth just like it does today. So it is a very marginal impact process from an industrial perspective relative to considering a brand new mine, for example, for lithium. We're going to be demonstrating that with some public funding from the California Energy Commission down at the Salton Sea in one of the most economically disadvantaged places in the Southwest of the United States in Imperial County. It's a tremendous opportunity for us to take something that already exists, geothermal power, get our lithium from that resource, and actually expand the economic potential for geothermal power at the same time by making the entire enterprise more cost effective. It's a super win-win situation. And I think that it's an example of another inspirational insight into all the things you're working on now. At the end of the day, you're going to need the lithium for the batteries to deliver the transportation. So Ken, I know we're close to the hour. I just wanted to check and see if you wanted to make any comments. You were really instrumental in making sure that all of the stakeholders had a voice in that report that you produced this summer before your graduation onto Amazon. By the way, anybody can find that report on the New Energy Nexus website. And a quick PSA, if you don't know, Bay Area Battery Summit next Tuesday and Wednesday, listen in, super cool.
And from my standpoint, I'm just so proud to see that that work has continued, that report's continued to get attention through events like this and through the Bay Area Battery Summit which will be coming up. It's great to see that all these perspectives that were known maybe to people that were on the ground on that side, or maybe different parts of industry, have really coalesced into one body of work with that report. So definitely encourage everyone who's on this call today to check it out and learn more about Lithium Valley and continue to stay engaged with New Energy Nexus to learn more about ways to move that forward.
And with that, I might round it out. We have put in the chat function the links for both the Building Lithium Valley report that Julie and Ken spoke to, and also the link for the Bay Area Battery Summit, which is our annual conference for energy innovation, startups, technology policy, and finance conversations coming up next week. So this is a great setup for that. And to the folk, from Tojo in Manila, which is a business I've actually visited, and there's all that is absolutely amazing to see electric jeepneys on the streets of this massive Southeast Asian metropolis, to the team from Shanghai, wonderful to see PowerShare using AI to advance the charging infrastructure. All of you, forgetting who else, my Aussie friends, Re-Electrify. It's just been fantastic to learn from some startups, to learn from massive conglomerates, to learn from the chair of our board and our alumni at Amazon Pledge Fund now, how we're all trying to collaborate for this greater vision of building an electric mobility world where we've displaced the internal or infernal combustion engine, which has polluted so much of our cities and sky, and getting us off that onto a better future, hopefully in a circular economy with lithium that's removed from brines with very little environmental impact and recycled because we're reusing batteries in their second life and then breaking them down and fully utilizing the materials throughout the supply chain. We're not far away from that future, but it's going to be people like you and the entrepreneurs that we saw, these startups that we showcased, that are going to make that happen. If you're an investor out there, you want to connect with any of them, please connect with us. We'll put you in touch. Haley, John, thank you again for an amazing job. And I think with that, just want to close with gratitude and appreciation for everyone who contributed.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
everyone.
much.
Good night and good morning. Goodbye.